what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Kingdom Conversations. I'm your host, Pastor Jay Hen. Listen, man, I hope that everybody had a great weekend. And listen, today we are going to laugh. We're going to talk about family, ministry, business, and a whole bunch of stuff, man. And this guy that is coming on, he and I have just connected. But you know, I'm a really strong judge of character, and I have a great gift of discernment, and I can just tell when somebody's a good person, and I believe that God causes God and kingdom connects, and this brother is definitely one of my new brothers, and I'm excited to have him on the show. And I was just telling Curtis that the particular clip that I'm getting ready to play for y'all, it reminds me of Martin, because you know, all of us that are avid watchers of Martin, we've probably seen every episode from every season. What's up, Dad? And no matter how many times we watch Martin, we laugh like it's the first time. And that's the effect that this clip has on me. So before I bring him to the clip, to the stage, let me set up this clip. So Bishop Paul Morton was preaching, and he was in a deep thought, and his musicians got up and walked across the camera when Bishop Morton was teaching. And this is how the man of God, Curtis Akeem, interpreted it. This is his interpretation of what Bishop Paul Morton really wanted to say. So let's hear ye, the man of
Luther Vandross says, "Here and now I promise to love faithful." Sit your head down. That's the problem. This ain't no show. Everybody's growing in the Lord here, and you definitely need it. The way you be trying to sleep with everybody up in the church, we need to get your flesh up and all, get it tamed. Matter of fact, get down to the altar right now. We gonna pray it up out you. I promise to love faithful.
Yo. Without any further ado, the man, he to me is a creative genius. He gave me a pointer last time he and I talked. He don't even know it, but we're going to talk about that later. But he's a marketing genius on social media, and his ministry is growing. So let's bring him to the stage. My brother, Curtis Akeem. Yo, Kurt, what's up, man? I can't hear you. See, this is you operate in the flesh. You operate in the flesh.
Am I here?
Come on out that flesh. Get in the spirit.
Listen. Salutations. That's my new one. Salutations. Giving honor to God, who's the head of my life.
Testify, Reverend.
Giving honor to my pastor, the great Brian Meadows, the MC City family. I appreciate you all. You know, I got to get my church in this out of the way.
That's right. Well, let me give my church a shout out, because I don't want them getting mad at me. Shout out to Restoration Tab, who yesterday took me out for my birthday, and I was a little confused, Kurt, because my birthday is not till Thursday, but they took me out yesterday. So I'm hoping that they have a part 2 plan.
It's got to be a part 2. Are they celebrating? Are they celebrating the whole week? Did they give you something today?
No, they didn't give me nothing today. I'm checking my cash
no,
app.
you can't start the birthday early and then don't do anything on the
Come
real
on.
birthday.
Come on, man of God.
See, church, y'all better get up. The church got to get up in order. See what I'm saying?
Rebuke them. I don't let nobody rebuke my church, but I give you permission. Rebuke them, bro.
Don't come up in here and take my good big brother out before his birthday and then not have a big festivity for his actual birthday.
Come on.
Because I feel like in the spirit, if they take y'all early, they just get it out the way. Let's go ahead and get it out the way.
See, you flowing.
That's what it is. They just trying to get it out the way.
Let me tell you something, and I'm nobody's second choice. I don't care what y'all had planned Thursday. You better cancel it.
Listen.
Do something for your pastor.
Listen. Now, first of all, I got to tell you, giving such honor to you for having me on your platform, because some people don't like me, you know. God bless them.
I can't imagine who, bro.
It's from out there.
I can't imagine who.
I'm blocked by some people I've never met.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is that about? Why do people block folk on social media and you haven't even done anything to them personally? What is that about?
Here's honestly what I think. I think that because I'm in a comedic space, people see me as these other comedians that probably go for low hanging fruit. That's what I call it. So what happens is you have some people. Okay, take the Paul Morton clip for example, right?
Right.
Like that's normally something that I don't do, but it was just so hilarious to me that I did it.
Yeah.
I say all that to say there's some people that look for the opportunity to imitate a situation as their foundation. So what happens is I think some people see what I've done with the Paul Morton clip, or they just lump me with other comedians and just say, "Man, I just don't want him to talk about me."
And that ain't even what you do.
Right. But I don't charge to their heart. I mean, if you got something to hide, then block me.
That's right. But you know what they always say, what's done in the dark.
It's gonna come to light, and I still ain't gonna say nothing. Like I'm
Right.
not I'm not that type of person, but some people may feel that way. You have some people that genuinely deem what I do the corniest thing ever, so they just don't want to see it at all. They don't want to see it
Wow.
being shared. They don't want to see my face. So it's plenty of reasons.
It's crazy, man. And I was just telling, some people are jealous of the favor that's on you because they actually don't have the guts to go after the favor that God has for them.
Right. You know what it is? You know what I realized? And I did a live about this the other day. And I diagnosed the modern day hater as having a mental illness. So I don't even get mad at haters because
Right.
you got to think to have the audacious mindset to think I'm not supposed to be where I am. And you think you should have what I have without knowing the sacrifices I've made,
Come
without
on.
knowing what I've been through. You
Come
just
on.
assume you should be where I am. That's narcissistic. And what is that? That's a
Absolutely.
mental illness.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
So
I
I don't
totally
even,
agree.
I don't acknowledge haters. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say haters are my motivators, that's too cheap for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like love. If you don't like me, then you just gonna not like me more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because and the crazy thing is in this new season that we're in, we're just getting started in this new batch of favor. So if people are mad at us for what happened and what they saw God do,
man,
they getting ready to get sick. My brother Clay would say, "Well, you better get your medication because you're gonna be
yeah.
so sick, man."
I,
You
I,
know,
I and I told this to my Bible study group. I said, man, sometimes you just got to look at a hater and say, if you only knew.
if you only knew.
You mad at me in this space, you gonna stroke out at what God got in store for me next.
I
If
promise you.
you mad here, if you only knew. And then to be honest, and this probably the longest I've ever talked about haters. But I genuinely feel, and some people may say it's so cliche, but no, I really pray for my haters. God give them something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like show them themselves because they waste so much time identifying everybody else's flaws. When you
Right.
can use that energy to identify what you can do to be better or why your
Absolutely.
stuff isn't working. So, haters, I love them
Yeah.
because it's a great barometer for where you're going to. If
Yeah.
nobody's talking,
You ain't doing nothing. And another thing, you'll never go into a store and find a battery with a negative and a negative. If you're gonna have power, you need negative and positive. If you plug a battery in with a positive and positive, it has no power.
it's never
So
going to happen. And then also, even when it comes to the jumper cable analogy, now if you put them on the opposite terminals, then they'll blow up.
blow it up.
So you gotta know where to direct. Oh, I feel that thing. You gotta
Come
know where to
on.
direct your energy.
Yes,
I
sir.
felt. I'm sorry. I felt it for a second. I'm sorry. I know we're here for the jokes, but God downloaded that thing. That was good to
Listen,
me.
let it download, Reverend. Let it
But
download.
no, but I think I think even with platforms like this, I think people have to understand the story behind the success.
Yeah.
Because if people knew what it took to be deemed successful, would you really not like somebody as much?
Listen to me. And when you find your lane and when you find what you should be doing, it becomes evident by the way God causes people to bless you.
Yeah.
You and I were on the show talking, and my dad had, well, I'll tell you the truth. This is the first mic that I was using.
Okay.
and
Okay.
this is a mic that comes with, you know, the stands
Yeah.
for the tripod with the camera
Right.
joint, and you plug it into your phone. This was the first mic I was using. I got online with you, and I started talking about I got to get me a new mic. And one of my boys, who's an engineer, has his own sound company. Well, my dad gave me I think it's called a Red Gorilla mic, really nice microphone. But my boy saw your mic.
Uh,
He saw the mic you were using, and he said, "Yo, Pastor, there's no
the
way there's no way that you gonna be doing this and you don't have the right mic." And Doc, he went and ordered it for me and sold it into me. The
see,
Shure, and he brought, and not only that, he brought it to my house. And when I went outside, I was like, "Yo, how much do I owe you?" He's like, "Nothing, Pastor. I'm sewing it into you." And that's how you know. And it's one thing for people to tell you that they're favored, but when you can actually see it in motion for yourself. And I didn't know nothing about no podcast mic. I was like,
yeah,
shucks. What I really was using was
yeah,
my
yeah.
old Apple joints. You know what I'm saying? But him knowing what he knows and saw your setup, he was like, "Yo, Kurt got a hot mic. You got to get a hot mic, Pastor." And he went out and brought it for me, man. So,
Wow.
man,
You,
thank you for inspiring people
wow.
to bless me, man. So thank you.
Now, you know what's crazy though, and it sounds like that. And me and my pastor was talking about this last night. He came and blessed my home, and we was talking about the dawning of gifts, right? So it's always stuff that shows you the dawn of a gift. What does dawn actually mean? You don't quite see the sun yet, but you see it coming up. So you always have indications to show you that you're coming up. We was getting real deep about it. I'm trying to
I
keep it
love it. I
tame,
love it.
but you know, that's why I say even when it goes back to the haters, if you only knew, if you knew what I saw, if you see what I see somebody sewing in and sewing a mic into you to the wrong person was like, oh, somebody just giving them stuff.
Right.
But to you, it's like, okay, God, it's dawning. I see you. We preparing. I learned how
Yeah.
to use this. I've outgrown this, but it's time. I feel you. And
Yeah.
I think more gifts have to be able to wait for their dawning
That's good. That's good.
because everybody wants the now, not understanding the practice, not understanding that in your waiting is when God is downloading your innovation.
Yeah.
See, I'm sorry, I'm going on a
No,
tangent,
go, 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 go.
but I feel it today. I'm just saying, but it's just like the problem with most creatives is that they're just that. They're just a creative. That's a beautiful thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time because there's a lot of creators who have a lot of great innovations in their mind but don't know how to bring it to fruition.
Yes, sir.
So what they do is, since they don't know how to plan properly, as soon as they get an idea, they want the world to see it, not realizing that what God downloaded in you was just a seed. He doesn't want it to bloom.
Right.
So I do want to encourage somebody that's watching. If you are creative and you feel like you're not being seen, it's simply because God is hiding you to help you cultivate and grow your gift. See, some people get seeds and assume that the tree is going to come tomorrow. But are you prepared to sit and wait? Let's understand. We was talking about this. Jesus literally had to wait on John's voice to start preaching.
Absolutely.
See, this the part. See, people don't know the creative. I know the Bible. Hear me.
Come on.
So, could you imagine if Jesus would have started preaching prematurely? It throws the time out of whack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, if Jesus preaches early, one would assume that there's a lot of miracles before him that wouldn't have happened. Everything had to happen in order. I say all that to say this. There's some people who feel, even I don't know why I feel this. There's some people who are watching right now that don't even feel activated. That's simply because God hasn't sent the right voice your way yet, which means you still got to chill.
Yeah.
Because if you're not activated or blessed by the right voice, you'll sabotage your invention anyway. Now God
That's
got to
crazy.
move on.
And you know what else? From that same passage of scripture, we see two things. It's so important that you are able to identify the voice, and the voice is the one that points to you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are operating without being pointed to.
Yes.
Because Jesus ministry, watch this, was going to be bigger than John's. He was going to save more people than John saved. But not only do we see him waiting to be pointed to, we also see submission, which is why creatives especially need a pastor. And we're in this climate now where everybody's talking about, I don't need no pastor, I know God. No, if Jesus waited to submit, and watch this, John was John the Baptist. He was John not because that was his, pedigree. He was a baptizer. That's what he did.
Right.
Jesus waited to submit to John's ministry for him to baptize him, point to him, and tell the people, behold, that's the guy. Because you thought it was me. There's somebody coming after me. I'm not even worthy to tie his shoe. That's him.
Right.
And that's when Jesus started his ministry. My question to all these creatives, all these renegades, who pointed to you? Who validated you? You know, I'm obsessed with the mafia.
Okay.
And one thing about the mob, the mob has so much structure. Even though they do a lot of evil and wicked things, they have so much structure. You can't do certain things without getting permission.
Yeah.
You can't just go out because you feel like whacking somebody and he's a made guy. You have to go through channels and you have to get pointed to and you have to get the okay. And the more disciplined you are, the more successful you are. And so be it in the spirit. The
Right.
more disciplined we are, the more successful we'll be.
Which is why, the creatives have to get to a place where they learn to be discipled. Because even in your gift, once God gives you, the voice thing is twofold. God is going to send you a voice to activate you, and then you have to recognize what your voice is. But if the voice that God sent to you doesn't activate you, you'll never truly hear what your voice sounds like.
Yeah.
And a lot of what happens with it is, as soon as somebody gets a jolt to get an idea, even when it comes to road preachers, they don't like the way they pastor did something. I'm gonna start me a church. You wasn't blessed.
You wasn't blessed.
And a lot of people say, what does that mean? No, seriously, you're going out of order. Because even if we go back to John and Jesus, what does that mean? Everybody had their time.
Yes.
God is not going. I hate to say this. People love prophesying this, and I don't know why. Nowhere in the Bible did God ever say anything about skipping.
You right, brother. Come on. Come on. You just went out. You just muted yourself.
Hey, mama. Everybody might want to call me. Can you see me though? I don't know why everybody calling right now. I think they know about my flow about to hit. But it's a difference between believing in a word that says everything is going to skip, and then there's when your time is coming. Mm-hmm. So what happens is a lot of people get whatever God stole from you, He's going to skip over, blah, 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 blah. I can't stand when people do that. Right. Because everything happened in succession.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of you may be better than that person, but can you serve the person that ultimately you're going to be better than?
Right.
A lot of people can't even do that. And the thing is, what's funny is God will have you serving somebody that you know you're better than. Mm-hmm. That's how, like, you'd be like, man, I can preach better than him. I can sing better than him. I can play better than him. But God, why does he have the platform? Because that person was sent to at least open up the door so you can take it the rest of the way. But if that person never gets the adequate chance to speak because they're too busy dealing with your jealous spirit, then the door is never open for you.
You missed the whole process. And it's just like with David and Saul. Mm-hmm. David was going to be more powerful than Saul, more effective than Saul, but he understood there's one of my favorite scriptures, and David behaved himself wisely. He had the opportunity and the reason, because Saul, I think he made 34 attempts on his life, something around there. David had a right to respond, and even when he found him in the cave of Adullam, he cut his skirt and was like, yo, I could have took you out.
Right.
See that? I got this close to you, but because he honored what the Lord told him, touch not my anointed, he backed off. do you know, being gifted in this generation, in this culture, is a great thing, but it's also dangerous
Yeah.
because there is no more respect.
Yeah.
People don't honor the ones that have gone before them,
Yep.
and they will even put hands on. I've seen people like threaten to put hands on pastors and mentors, and I'm like, yo, are y'all crazy?
Right.
I'm telling you, I've served under 3 pastors: Bishop Perry Lindsay Sr., who taught me church. I served under Bishop Hezekiah Walker. I was his drummer. I played for the Crusade Choir for 10 years. He taught me music ministry and how to really get saved and stay saved.
Right.
My bishop now, who I've been with for 21 years,
Wow.
Bishop Darrell Hill, he taught me how to be a man of character, a man when it comes to the scriptures, a avid reader. There's nothing that they have done, all 3 of them. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that they did at times, but there's nothing in me that would make me go and post something about Bishop Walker, something about Bishop Hill or Bishop Lindsay, or even jump in their face. Like, I'm like, whoa, where was y'all raised? Like,
Right. But see,
are you
that's I
kidding
mean,
me?
that's the honor in you. See, a lot
Yeah.
of people, let's be real, a lot of people don't, first of all, they don't want to be discipled at all. They just want to be attached. They
Right.
want to be attached to the anointing. I want to be attached to the name. So when you go to these places, and that's why, like, I have such a heart for pastors, because it's your job to be compassionate.
Yeah.
So how do you be compassionate to somebody who you know only wants to attach because of who you are or because of what your name is? So it's a lot of people that only want to attach due to namesake or to seem validated. People aren't going into covenant to learn honor. They're not going into covenant to sit still. They just I want to be next to this person so I can call him my spiritual dad, so that when I go do this, and that's, I'm sorry, y'all, that's corny.
Now, can we talk about that? What is your take on folk calling this their pastor's dad?
You sure? You sure? Are we sure?
I just want to know.
To be honest, I do believe in spiritual fathers,
I
okay?
do too. I do
Nobody
too.
shoot me, but I ain't calling my spiritual father dad. Now, I recognize the spiritual father aspect, but I had a father. Rest
Right.
his soul.
Yeah.
I understand that you're sent to guide me, you're sent to disciple me, but at no point will I utter dad. I'm not, that's just not my thing.
Yeah. I think I get it. I get why some people do it, because a lot of people, and even with me going into my 9th year pastoring, there are some young people in my church that have no relationship with their father.
See, I was thinking, I'm like, but there is a void that some
Yeah.
people do have.
But
The
I
only the
think
only
that you have to be careful as a pastor, and this is what I'm very careful of. I'm very careful not to let boundaries be crossed,
Yeah.
because I think that sometimes when you get that personal, it takes it takes the boundaries away, and some people don't know how to switch hats.
and then
People
some
don't.
people just won't hear you
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now they're intimate with you and y'all grow up. I ain't talking about intimate as nothing sexual,
Yeah.
but just because they see you away from the pulpit, they get to be
Yeah.
in your vicinity. The words don't drop the same. Oh, I know
Yeah.
him now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, some people don't know how to switch off. Like I said, me and my pastor, we have a great relationship. Like, so when we're in church, this apostle just came to my house last night. I still honored him as apostle, but he let his hair down. We chill. You know what I'm saying? My other friends are around, but I'm not gonna be around my apostle. Oh, turn up! You in my crib now? It's
Right.
just no. But
There has to
some
be some
people,
limits. There has to be
right?
some limits.
But I mean, I think it does come from a void not being full or not being filled.
Yeah.
So I think it's honestly, it's up to the pastor. And a lot of pastors may not want his, but it's up to the pastor to diagnose if this person has daddy issues or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the person that's seeking that from you doesn't know that they have daddy issues. You won't hear the average person say, "Yeah, I got daddy issues." They don't know. They're just searching for some sort of manliness to put in that place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's up to the pastor to be like, You know what I'm saying? What's your relationship like with that? Okay, you didn't have a father. How do you feel
Yeah.
about this? How do you feel about this? Before you take that person on. Because, like I said, when people start feeling like you're filling that void, they not looking at you for spiritual counsel no more. This is
Yeah.
my dad.
Right.
I go to my dad about and that's where the limits get crossed. I mean, even with me teaching Bible study, or you know what I'm saying, or me doing other things, I also have to watch how people in my group are. Like that's why everybody just can't be around me all the time. And some
Yeah.
people may say that may be sadistic. No, it's some people that can't handle your humanness.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
real thing. That's okay to
Absolutely.
say. There's some people that can't handle me being human.
Yeah.
Because if they see me being human just a little bit,
It'll throw
they'll
everything
look
off that you deposited into them.
right.
Yeah.
And I really don't like well, these pastors, they not tangible. Some of them aren't supposed to be.
Right.
There are some that can be in the hood, can be in the community, can be out there. And there's some that we see their regalness as cockiness, but no, because if you saw them in their human space, you wouldn't be able to deal with them on a spiritual level anymore.
Yeah. I think your cousin just came on here. Jake, my little brother, J Track Perkins.
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin. Yeah, what's up,
Yeah.
cousin?
What's up, cuzzo?
He too famous, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all something.
Let me tell you something. I'm so proud of this dude, man.
Let me tell
Yo, he's
y'all.
killing it.
But he don't answer his phone though. We
Oh,
ain't
I
talk about
don't
that.
tell me he getting Hollywood
He
doc.
getting Hollywood, man.
Oh,
He done
come
got a
on,
couple
Perkins.
placements. Nah, I'm lying.
Doc.
I'm lying. Now, honestly, because a lot of people don't know. I lived in New York. Outside of me being born there, I lived in New York on two separate occasions. I lived in New York, and I went to August Martin High School my
Really?
sophomore year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then I moved back to Atlanta because high school in New York is a first of all, they too free in New York.
Yeah.
Like you can literally just walk into school and just walk out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like in Atlanta, they stopped. Well, I don't know what they're doing now, but back then it was like so
Yeah.
I can take a bus to school because it ain't really no public buses. I mean,
Right.
for school system buses. And then but anyway, yeah. So yeah, I failed terribly my sophomore year in New York.
Let
It
me
was
tell
too
you
much
something.
freedom.
I went to a school called City As. That was
Okay.
my school. But all of my friends went to LaGuardia, High School of Performing Arts.
Yeah.
I was in LaGuardia every day for 2 years straight. They thought I went there. And all I would do is I would leave my school, jump on I think it was the 1 or the 9 train, take it up to 66th Street, and I knew the school safety officers. I never forget it. The guy at the door, his name was Solomon. Solomon, I'd be like, yo, what up, Sol? I get there, and I'll go straight to the cafeteria, and I would be at LaGuardia playing spades all day long. And when my mama found out, bro, she liked to kill me.
Yeah. The
That
funny
beating
thing?
I will never forget.
Right. Thinking back now, all the time, because here was the problem. I had never taken a bus or a train till I moved to New York. So when I got that freedom, I was living with my grandma. So, grandma, you can't do no wrong with grandma.
Right.
So grandma just thinking I'm going to school. I'm just
Uh-huh.
riding to Manhattan by myself. I'm riding to Brooklyn by myself. Then I had the country accent, so all the girls love me. I'm 15.
Come on, Doc. Testify.
All of them. I just say one thing. Where you from? Well, I'm from Atlanta. Oh my God, it just go crazy. I couldn't handle it. But
It was like that, Doc.
yeah, no, I mean,
Lord Jesus, where's Lady Akeem at? Make sure.
she back here. She know my story.
He talking about his past, lady.
Yeah,
First lady.
she know my story. She know my story. She know what I once was. Glory be, I've been delivered. I've been
Going
delivered.
grace.
But
Grace.
then I moved back to start trying to go to college. So I was supposed to go to SUNY Dale High, right?
Okay.
And then I didn't do my paperwork where I was supposed to. I don't know why they thought I was gonna do my paperwork. I'm just fresh out of high school. I'm not doing this paperwork. One of y'all better do my paperwork. But anyway, so then it happened. So I ended up going to TCI.
My father told me he didn't know that. My father on here.
Oh,
He didn't know I was playing hooky. Oh Lord.
You done found out now. But now I was going to TCI and I was at Mount Carmel Baptist Church
Okay, yeah.
in Far Rockaway. Now that's my home church. Now I was there up under the Reeds. And then,
Oh, wow.
once the Reeds, stepped down or whatever, Darren Ferguson was the pastor there, and that's where I met Jay Trekker. That's where I met him.
Oh wow.
So we call each other cousins because we literally have known each other for a long time.
Wow. Good brother, man.
Yeah, man, that's a good
Jay's
guy.
a good
Very
brother.
talented. Come
Oh,
back to the
man.
church. Come back to the church, man. Stop playing. Let me see.
Yeah, my mother would say he out there making rock and roll.
Yeah, he out there, But no, he still get on that organ now.
Oh
One
yeah,
thing,
he can play.
that man is probably one of the. A lot of people sleep on my bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that out there
yeah,
because he's so cool and quiet.
yeah. But he can really play though.
He get on that. He get on them keys.
Yes, sir.
And he's subtle. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So a lot of people, a lot of people want to be in your face with it. He's subtle. He'll do something. You'll be like,
I hear you, Doc.
yeah, like,
Yes, sir.
I caught that later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Only thing I do wish. Only thing I wish, and this ain't just got to do with just J Track, but I feel like personally, New York had a wave, but missed the wave at the same time.
Now, what do you mean? Explain.
Okay.
yourself.
New York has always originated the best shouts.
Mm-hmm.
That's just fact, okay?
Right.
But I feel like a lot of the best bumps came not even pre-social media, but social media wasn't as big when a lot of what you all were doing musically, a lot of the innovation got missed. So there's still a lot of people that know.
Right.
But I could only imagine because with social media and with YouTube, the world has gotten a lot smaller. So a lot of people hear a lot of the same stuff. But if people could have heard, especially, it wasn't even the whole New York, it was Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't even like it was like Brooklyn, then it drops everywhere else.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
after that, then you have to know a musician to be playing it. Like, if only at that time, because now everybody's bumping.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if that time, because I was telling somebody this the other day, I said, man, if you had to be there to see it. Like, J-Track took me to my first church in Brooklyn. It was Mount Sinai.
Oh, Ralph, Fulton and Ralph.
It's a big old church.
Yeah, Church of God in Christ.
And them young guys, I forget they older now, but at the time they was like 15.
You talking about Sean Copeland?
Yes,
Daniel,
yes.
Revel. Those my little guys. My
He
little
took me
nephews.
there,
Yeah.
and if he's still on there, he'll tell you. I probably got on his nerves because after that, we would play at our church, and then I was like, "Hey, bro, you got to come on, go in Mount Sinai." He's like, "Man, you could go." I'm like, "I'm not going by myself." But he would take me to other churches he was playing at, and that's how I got introduced to like the Brooklyn sound. Like a lot of people don't know that there's a Brooklyn sound. Like people outside call it a New York sound, but it's a Brooklyn sound that I wish people get it. But at that time, it was something different. It was something special.
Different. And I'm talking about you going back to, let's see, Butch Hayward. Butch Hayward from Institutional.
Yeah.
He is probably the architect.
The architect. Y'all about to
Yeah.
say it, the architect, man.
He's the mausoleum of Brooklyn organists. And then you got Melvin Crispell, James Hall. Did you ever get a chance to experience Danny Eason?
No.
Danny Eason?
No.
Oh man, this guy, you see what Vincent Bohannon is doing right now?
Yeah.
That was Danny 20 years ago.
Wow.
Danny
You know who else?
Eason
You know who else I got to see?
Who's that?
Live? And I don't know if he's from Brooklyn. I think he's from Brooklyn. I saw him at a Brooklyn church with is it Colin White? Colin Whitfield? Is it Colin White? His dad is a bishop in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey White.
Okay, but I went and Corey was on organ.
Corey Henry and Carlin was on drums.
This is before Corey was who he is now.
Yeah.
That's I heard him play one time and I lost my mind.
He's a beast. Yeah, he's
a
crazy.
lot of people don't know, like, y'all have been breeding musicians for a long time.
Yeah.
So like when
I
they
see
get
you,
somebody
Caton.
like
Big shout out to Dave Caton, one of the architects of the sound as well.
Well, he
David
just
Caton.
followed me the other day. I got a bone to pick with him.
Oh, come on, get him. That's my son in the Lord.
I've been following him for years. I've been following him for years. And I guess now that, videos starting to go crazy, he just followed me. But listen.
No, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you. That's my son in the Lord. I got to cover him.
Okay.
I told him, I said, now, son, You need to follow this man of God. He got.
Okay.
I sent Dave the clip, the good
Okay.
morning
Okay.
clip.
Okay. Okay. It makes
And
sense.
after that, he was sold. But see, David, he will get a little Hollywood, but that's why God got me in his life. I pull that coat up like,
You know who followed me the other day and I about lost it and people
Who's
didn't
that?
know why? Kevin Bond. Not preacher Kevin Bond.
Oh,
Not
the musician.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like he
Oh,
followed me out of nowhere
yeah.
and I about lost it and folks like who's Kevin Bond? I'm like,
You don't know who Kevin Bond is?
y'all don't know. I'm still waiting on but Dr. Kevin Bond. I'm waiting on him to follow me too.
Dr. Kevin Bond, another good friend. Another
Listen,
good friend.
he my spirit animal. I tell people that all the time. Listen, let me tell you why. He my spirit animal. Let me tell you why.
Wait. What is a spirit animal?
He channels my energy. Like, let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
I went to one of James Hall's, is it the anniversary that they had? I don't know if they still have them, but this is like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I went to one. And Dr. Kevin Bond got up there.
Nobody like him, Doc.
Listen, I
Nobody.
gotta be honest. At first, I did not like him.
Lord Jesus.
I'm coming from old school Baptist.
Uh-huh.
I'm playing in the Baptist church. So at that time, I'm like, what is this man screaming for? He don't know how to scream. But then, you know what's funny? And I told somebody this like a year ago. I said, the older I get, the more I understand this dude.
Uh-huh.
Because I be in church now sometimes, like, and they're like, sorry.
Don't Doc, they call that the Tourette's, the Tourette's of the Holy Spirit.
Because it's just sometimes, like when you get to thinking about where you done came from, you just get like, hold on, excuse me, I'm sorry. Or somebody say something, you like, sir. So it's like when I say that's how I tell people all the time, Kevin Bond is my spirit. I got him in my act that I'm working on now for to go on tour.
I
I'm
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I got him in my act. I'm imitating him.
But let me tell you something. Dr. Kevin Bond is one of the nicest guys, man. And what you see on social media and all that, that's him all the time. Like, he's not playing. He's dead. Let me tell you how far back we go. My mother was his vacation Bible school teacher. Yeah. So, he's been screaming and doing all that since I was a little kid.
Yo.
And he ain't never gonna change. I'm just amazed at how he goes all the way back like that and never falls.
Listen.
I'm like, God, that's crazy.
And another thing that y'all New Yorkers do that I just can't get with. Y'all are in some different type of shape because y'all shout.
Now, what's a good BPM for y'all?
Well, at Embassy, we don't shout at all, So, but
Wait. Y'all don't shout at your church?
now our church is
Yeah,
put
like
it to you
a
like
worshiping church. Y'all
yeah,
cry.
yeah,
Y'all cry
yeah.
and repent all the time.
Folk be up under chairs and crying. I had to get used to it because I'm like, where's the bump? Like
Right.
we riled up. I'm like, I'm here. I'm ready. I took my shoes off, and then it just stays like in this
It just stays right there.
But what I will say about Embassy is, Embassy has taught me another way of worship, and like all types of worship are needed. They're like there's different degrees of heaven, and I don't think people, we can teach about that, but there's different degrees of worship, and a lot of people.
Now, before you go too deep, let me say this to you, because you over there at that church at Embassy, y'all don't shout no more. If I bring you over to my church, don't embarrass me. Do you still know how to shout?
Oh no, I still got to step in me now. Let's understand
Reverend, because
something.
I don't want to see no mess out of you.
No, the steps still go. You know what I'm saying? We have our moments, but it's not okay because all right, our MD at Embassy, he's from New York. He's apostolic. He's from
What's
New
his
York. Trey. Trey Singleton.
Trey Singleton.
Trey Singleton. But he's New York to the core. Like,
okay.
Like he still got that that swag. But it's just that's just their floor of the church. Now it has been months where they have bumped, but it's been like real like okay, the church don't know how to shout anyway, so it's only a few of us. Everybody else is like
just jumping. Right.
Yeah, so.
That's all right. Ain't
but
nothing
no.
wrong. There's a church here called Excelling. My friend Jarrell Solomon is the pastor. One of the most bangingest churches in our city, and they do something called the power of the leap. And the church just jumps up and down like boing, boing, boing.
Oh,
They can shout though.
I got to witness that.
There's about. Let me tell you something. I've been in there, and you try to fight that thing. You like, I'm not jumping with these people. And Doc, it gets.
Well,
so,
you know it.
Next thing you know, you're like. I even brought it back to my church. I said, y'all got that over there, but we got the apostolic leap. And let me tell you something. We went to jumping in my church, and people was like, "He got on my shot."
Yeah, listen, you got to, man, because honestly, but y'all have endurance there. Y'all have stamina. See,
yeah, we can shout, but see, let me tell you something. Folk that can't shout long is because they silly praises. Silly praises. Let me tell you what a silly praiser is. A silly praiser or an immature praiser is somebody that dance and actually picks their feet up. See, you immature. You don't know how to give God praise for real. A smart praiser like me just moves your upper torso.
See, listen.
I'm dancing now.
Right.
My feet ain't left the ground.
You might get a little
bend
on the foot.
Yeah, you doing all that, got. You can do all that, but the key is don't lift your feet up. Yeah. If you leave your feet on the ground, you can praise him for 45 minutes, no chaser.
Because here's the problem. Some people don't exercise for real. They don't run. And so they think they lift their feet up. That's running, y'all.
Yeah,
but yeah, nah.
Don't the scripture say that you ought to have your feet planted?
Listen,
I'm
planted. I might let out a little slide, but that's it.
Now, I've seen a clip of you. You got some fancy footwork.
Listen. I when it's time to bump, I gets the bumping.
All right. Now,
I gets the bumping. I'm saying when the Lord start downloading, I get the bucket. Listen. Sometimes God just say, get light. I be like, oh, it's time.
No, he says it like that.
Lord, like get light. Now, because it's sometimes like I'm gonna be honest, and this is the guy's honest too. Like, I'll be in the church and I'll be calm, cool and collected, you know what I'm saying? And when I say calm, cool, and collected, I'm snotting at the nose, I'm crying. And then sometimes God will be like, that ain't it. Get light. I'll shut the church down.
Now, God tells you, Curtis Akeem,
get light. Get light. But see, that's twofold. Listen.
Now, what does that mean now? Clear it
get
up.
Get light, literally. Get light. That's the way of saying he downloading into me. I'm getting some light. I'm getting revelation.
Come on.
Then my feet getting light. God gives me less pounds to move my feet different. It's twofold. I'm getting light. See, a lot of people, when they say get light, they think it's just about the footwork. No, I'm literally getting light as I'm getting light. So the more I shout, the light I get on my knees, the more revelation I get to my mind. See what I'm saying? Get light.
Man, so many great things have happened for you since our last interview. Congrats on the new house.
Thank you.
And congrats on the cymbal deal.
Oh yeah, but the cymbal deal, I mean, well, it's just coming to light, yeah. But we've been working on that cymbal for 2 years, man.
Wow.
It's just I don't talk until it's time.
Let me tell you something.
Understand?
That's key, because you don't sign till that ink is dry.
Listen, so yes, we coming out with our own version, and when I say our, I have a drum company down here in Atlanta called Renaissance Percussion, where we tutor kids from all over Atlanta and some other states. We just started working on percussion outside of their schools, because down here it's a very big marching band culture.
Okay.
But what happens is the drummers kind of get thrown to the wayside because the band directors are so focused on the horns, which they have to be. So that's why there's a lot of percussionists who lack, especially when it comes to reading or when it comes to overall talent. Like, you have some percussionists down here that can play all the marching drums and can't play drum set. You're never going to get a gig that way. Or vice versa. You have some who come in and can play set and can't march. Can't play any other percussive instruments, can't play the mallet percussion. Some people don't even know that keys are in the percussion family.
Yeah.
So we tutor them in all things percussion.
That's dope.
So down here in Atlanta, as far as high school drumline concerned, I'm one of those guys. I'm not exaggerating, but anybody who's seen any of my drum lines knows I've been doing this. So another thing, creative, we're gonna learn tonight. We'll learn today. I went out to Domain Symbol. They ain't come to me. I said, look, I have an idea. These other symbol companies, they don't treat us right. You have a supreme opportunity to get into a market where people are going to eat this thing up if you promote it right.
Wow.
My buddy Kennard Cherry, who's the owner of Domain, he literally said, okay, we've been talking. He sent me symbols. We on our second prototype of marching symbols now. And we honestly hope to have the marching symbols in some people's hands. Realistically, I don't mind waiting until next year.
Right.
Give us another year just testing it, because last season we lost marching band due to COVID. So
Yeah.
we didn't get to plan much. We didn't get any real field access with the symbols outside of the school that I teach at. So I really want to demo some more and give some kids more of what they want. So what do you not like? What do you like? And then we create the perfect symbol. Because Zildjian and Sabian, it's nothing against them, but they don't treat us right. And I'm not saying from a place of being not prejudiced, but they don't think to hear us on what we would need in this side of marching band culture to keep us coming back.
Now, can you play? You can play both.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
and is drums the only instrument that you play?
No. Keys. That's about it.
So you
But
play
keys,
drums?
I tickle keys. Okay. I'm not somebody that's gonna get up here and play you a selection A and B. But if you need a good offering organist, that's me.
That's you. Now, what keys can you play in? What's your best key?
The same key that I could preach in, C sharp.
Now, do you modulate when you preach?
Sometimes it depends. It depends on the situation. Like, to be honest, like if I'm preaching and all right, y'all, I gotta let y'all know, if I'm preaching and I know I'm killing where I'm at, I'm definitely gonna modulate. Come on, I'm killing them now. Get ready.
I got them now.
Yeah, get ready. But if I'm like, cause you know, as a preacher, you can feel it. Like you can feel
You know
it.
when it's not going well.
You know it. I hate when preachers act like they don't. Like, we're not feeling it. So sometimes, you get to a place where, it's the pacing. You have some preachers that in God said, you need, you know what I'm saying? You got some, God said, you got to know where you preaching at.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be able to, I'm about to give preachers a lesson. Be you, but learn the atmosphere. Write that down.
Say that again. Say that again.
Be you, but learn the atmosphere.
That's good.
Okay? That's how you keep your engagements up. I'm not saying just the only reason you're seeking is engagements, but let's be real. You want to be accepted by all. Be you, but learn the atmosphere. So what I say about that is, if you preaching at a church and you know the church is a tune-in church and you do tune, but they're a slower type of church, maybe not be so wordy. Give yourself a break.
You got to take your time.
Right, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, if I'm looking around and I know they not feeling this, I'm getting up out of there. I ain't got no problem. I'll tune it right now. But honestly, and you got sometimes preachers, every sermon ain't meant to tune behind. I think
True.
We built the culture around the celebration being one thing.
Right.
What happens to the celebration is people coming to Christ.
Yeah.
So,
which should be the ultimate celebration anyway.
Right. Like we stay tuned as a celebration, which, I'm saying, tuning, get your glory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all for that. Get your time. Show us what you've been practicing in the mirror.
Every great hooper practices.
Listen, say, oh, no, it just happened. No, stop lying, boy. Like, y'all, I just something come over me. Now, listen. No. When the anointing hits with gift, of course, it's some stuff that you probably did while preaching that you didn't practice. But let's be real. There's a foundation of practice.
Reverend, you giving out all the secrets, Reverend.
I'm just saying. Give us what you got in the mirror.
Can I tell you something? Every Sunday.
Oh, Lord.
Every Sunday, I get up early, right? Before I come to church,
Yeah.
and when I'm in the shower, I go through my whole message.
Because here's the thing, and that's okay. See, but that's what you, because honestly, like I'm the preacher where God, for some reason, deals with me real late in the word. So I have my message, and then I'll be going through it, even while I'm sitting there waiting to get, introduced. And God will give me something right then. I'll be like, dang.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'd be like, man, I'm about to kill him with that. I'm about to kill him. But listen, preacher, all y'all preachers, it's okay to be confident. Just don't be cocky.
That's it. That's it. And because God will do stuff like sometimes I'll get up and you know, have this whole dissertation prepared, and God will be like, that ain't what I want to talk. No.
Right.
And I'm just like, close the book and let me flow. And I got to be honest, sometimes that's probably some of the most effective
Right.
services.
Because then, what I learned about God is, because God does that with preachers a lot, right? Like, y'all, a lot of people don't know this for whatever reason, but y'all, God does that to preachers a lot. So when you see a preacher in his glory, you like, oh man, he studied that. No, that's God revealing in that moment.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, sometimes God will force you to write a message so he can give you the lesson.
Say that again. Say that again, Reverend.
Because God will give you a message to force you to learn the lesson. Because now you got another teaching point. Because if you preached everything that God gave you, you ain't got no nugget to drop on nobody.
It's true.
They've heard everything.
Right.
But what happens if God gave you a message? Let's use Naaman, for instance. Naaman, a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't touch Naaman. I don't know why. But Naaman, 2 Kings chapter 5, that's my favorite story in the Bible. Period. Naaman is my favorite person in the Bible. Because of his idiotic nature. But y'all read it on your own. Go research Naaman. Pastor Hendrickson, I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, you know about Naaman, but
Yes, sir.
Naaman in that one passage, somebody could literally preach a series on it if they wanted to. It's about 5 different messages. That was my initial sermon, but it's 5 messages in that one story if you play your cards right. I'll tell anybody that. But so God may take you to Naaman, right? And you may be like, oh man, I got my points. I'm a killer. And then you may get up there and God just give you something totally different. But now you have somebody in the Bible that when people don't know about, you've learned something new. And it's always something you have in your back pocket for later.
Yeah.
Because realistically, Naaman's not going to identify with the mass because a lot of the mass don't even know who he is.
Right. True.
But now you could say, hey man, but around Second Kings book, named Naaman, he did X, Y, and Z. It's gonna force somebody to go listen because that word may have been either just for you or just for that one person. But could you imagine if you preached everything God gave you? You'd be drained.
Yeah, and that's good, man, because there are some things. Well, I think every message should hit you first.
Yes.
So that you can preach it from a more clearer perspective, and the conviction of the message should always hit the preacher first. But let's shift real quick, because a lot of people may not know that you are as musical as you are.
Okay.
And there's this thing that's been going on, and I want you to chime on it. CCM versus gospel.
Ooh. Okay, we going you just choosing violence for me. Okay.
What is the whole beef? Why is everybody so upset that the black church is now singing CCM and the contemporary churches are doing our music? Like what's the problem? Isn't it all one God, one kingdom?
It's all one God, but let's be real. God wouldn't have created such a diverse palette of people if he didn't want to use all the languages.
Good.
So what I say to all that is it's nothing wrong with CCM. The problem is when people think that if I adopt this sound and forget one, I'll progress. The black church had and has a sound.
Right.
Let's not desert that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with CCM.
Right.
But let's be real. We have to be real about this. There's certain tones and there's certain words that will get you to another place that others won't.
That's true.
So sometimes it's a CCM song that'll put you in a worship place. But when I hear him, it's something else that just happens to me.
Right. Right.
When I hear the blood, when I hear Blessed Assurance, it's something there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
I just think what the issue is, people have turned the sound of CCM into a culture of CCM. So we picked up the tighter jeans, we picked up the Chelsea boots, we picked up the praise and worship look. That's what I call it. It's the praise and worship look. Okay? The only beef, if there is one, is the people that forgot our sound or their sound in the first place. It's nothing to be threatened by. It's just what happens is people saw CCM as progressive and saw the black church as just stagnant. So everybody started going that way. So the only beef I see, I'm gonna be honest. Now, one thing I will say, y'all, now this is one thing people not gonna lie. CCM is a way easier genre of music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's another reason why. I think there's a lot of musicians that they're skilled, but they don't have an ear. That's two different things.
Big time. And you know, with CCM, it can be a 4-chord structure. It could just be 4 chords. And you know, my sister was on the show last week, and she said something that really got me. She said the difference between the music is the goal. A lot of times with our music, the goal is to get the oohs and the ahs.
I like
Their
that.
music, the goal is God.
Yeah.
That's why they strip everything away and make it as simplistic as possible, because they don't want to get the circle of musicians around you, you know, going live. Nah, I want to get you to a place where you can't even hold your phone.
Right. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
You know,
The other side of that is still needed from an exposure base. You know what I'm saying? Like people, here's why there is a beef. It's because there's a bunch of musicians. Once again, we talk about creatives that never learned how to be discipled. So we made it a show.
right.
But musicians speak through their fingers. They speak through their thoughts. So what happens if a pastor comes and says, hey, man, you're actually a minister, and they really start believing that stuff? Then we won't have a beef musically at all. Because now it's like I'm speaking regardless. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. Some people don't like the look of CCM. And I'd rather people say that. I don't like the look. I don't like that all churches starting to look like this and not that. I don't like how people are starting. It's okay to say that. That's your thought.
Right.
But to say it's a beef, God speaks to everybody in many different ways.
David Caton said the lyrical content is very different.
Very different. I mean, you know, CCM, it's like it's worshipy, but you don't hear a lot of he's and hymns. You don't really hear God, Jesus. Like you hear a lot of he's the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? He's who he is. Like that's one thing that
in the apostolic church, they would have said, who is he? And what is he to you? That's what they would have said.
Right. So that's why I say that.
Clear it up, Caton. Clear it up.
We
want to know, who is he?
Who is he? So I think, you know what I'm saying? God, listen, God created such a diverse palette. If you don't like it, change the station, bro.
Let me tell you something. I gotta hear the name. I need to hear the name of Yahshua Yashim. Okay.
Listen, don't stop. See, I'm about to get the bucket. See what I'm saying?
God.
I need to
hear his name.
But and there's some people that also hear me. CCM is the equivalent to a gateway drug. I told somebody that the other day too.
Okay, now you get me. You in deep water now. What? Say that again.
CCM is the equivalent to a gateway drug to me.
What do you mean by that, man of God? Clear it up.
Here's what I mean. Basically, what I mean is like, we're living in a culture that's very sensitive about names like Jesus and God. I think this is a great way for people to gain access to, no disrespect, but an infant way of worshiping.
Okay.
Because listen. Now, when I say infant, listen to me, y'all. I'm just trying to use layman's terms for y'all. I want to use terms that I want to use, but I don't want to sound real nerdy. Okay?
No, go ahead. Say it. Say it.
I feel like CCM is a great way to introduce somebody to a worship experience. That's better. Thank you, Lord. I'm sorry. Recover. Mute that other part. But listen, I feel like CCM is a great introductory into worship. Because what's going to happen is eventually you're going to want more of them. Who is he? Who is this man that y'all speak of? I'm hearing he. I'm hearing all these hymns. Who is he? And somebody's going to be like, it's God, baby. Pick up that hymn book. We done. Pick it up. Now you done caught the blood. Now you done caught the blood because we done brought you in. We done tickled your face. We gave you the haws and the who's and you done cry. But you're going to eventually, who is him?
David Caton said, y'all also sing, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. What Lord? Oh, God. Let me tell you something. You can't say stuff like that in front of David Caton, son. David Caton, he think he white.
Oh.
Yeah, he think he white. He done moved out the hood. He done
Oh.
he don't go get hero sandwiches no more. He gets wraps now. He gets wraps. Yeah, he's one of them.
Does he eat kale too?
He don't get mayonnaise. He gets honey mustard on one side, Grey Poupon
Oh, now
on
he
one.
naming lyrics. Won't he
Yeah,
make
yeah,
you
yeah,
clean
yeah,
inside?
yeah.
Yes. They listen. Go on somewhere now.
Rebuke him.
Go
Rebuke
somewhere
him.
now.
Rebuke him, Curtis.
Go
Get
somewhere.
him.
See, you're supposed to be on this side of the table.
Yeah, cause
You
let me tell
being
you
real
something.
this.
I tell
Let me
this
stop.
story all the time. I'm the one that got David Caton out of the projects. He don't want to remember that though. You see, you gotta use you to help some people, Curtis, and they get high and lifted up. But I am the friend that reminds you, you wasn't always there. I saw him sitting up in the window, and I looked up and said, "Hey, you." Yeah, he was like, "Who, me?" I said, "Yeah, you." I said, "Listen, do you want to go to California?" And he was sitting up there looking like a thug. I was afraid of David Caton. When I saw him, I didn't know if he was gonna rob me or something. I said, I don't know if I should invite this young man, but I followed God. I obeyed God. And I
Like
said,
I saw
David Caton,
destiny. I
I said,
saw
do you want to
destiny.
go to California? He said, who, me? I said, yeah. And he came on down. He looked like a thug. He had a bunch of chains and
Oh
earring in.
Lord.
He had an earring in this ear. Then he had braids with rubber bands. Looked like a thug. You hear what I'm telling you? And I took him from Roosevelt Projects to Rodeo Drive, and the rest is history. And
He
he
took
hasn't
you
said
from row
thank
to
you
row.
yet. He hasn't said thank you yet, Curtis. You believe that?
I
Get him.
feel a big seed being sown from him.
See, he needs to sow a
I
seed.
felt that. As soon as you tell the story, I heard seed sower.
Come on,
That's what I
man of
heard.
God.
I heard
David
seed
Caton,
sower.
I'm gonna send you my cash app in 3 minutes. We gonna be like the other prophets. We gonna get on here. I'm gonna say, now listen.
Listen.
I feel how they do it, Curtis. Show me how they
No,
how they can get.
they be like, it's something in the atmosphere. First of all, I ain't got no music, but it's something in the atmosphere. God wants to release a word to you, but God is throwing a number my way. Heard 100,000. He's doing it. He's doing it. There's somebody under the sound of my voice. You've been plowing in the field, but ain't been no harvest. God
Come
is
on.
saying because the seed is still in your back pocket. God is saying, and you got to plant it in mine. Because if you plant it in my back pocket, there's going to be a harvest that's going to come right away. Let me tell you something. If you go to your house after you sow this seed and your plants ain't grown, Call the police because somebody done stole your field. That's what they do. Oh, I done knocked my phone down. That's what they do. When I tell you,
Yo.
that brother Karn said that one time. How about that?
No, he did not.
He said,
No, he didn't.
he ain't say it like that, but he said, I'm a real prophet.
A
He
real
said,
prophet.
if I tell you that there's cheese growing in, no. What he said, I'm a real prophet. He said, if I tell you that there's a TV in your backyard, and by the time you get home, if it ain't there, call the police because somebody done stole your TV. When I tell you, I said, you know how accurate you got to be? If you tell somebody if it ain't there, call the police because you've been robbed.
David Caton said, where does he sow? I just put my cash app up. Send it there, son, in the Lord. I'm telling you, in the next 72 hours, if you sow, there's going to be a great time.
That's what they do, though. You know, I saw a post today where this young lady, she made a post. She said, you know, this pastor told me to if I sold this pastor told me to sow $50, and he told me that I was gonna get this house, and he told me exactly where to go. So she said I went 2 days later, and they literally told me you can't afford this. She was like, I want my $50 back. I was like, yeah, Lee, y'all up here lying to these people. You know, but here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's twice that I prophesied out of my vainness, and I've been caught in it.
You've been caught.
Let me tell you, and I can be totally honest with y'all, because I'm very prophetic. It's the gift of the Holy Spirit, y'all. All of y'all can be prophetic. Not all of y'all are prophets, but God we'll get that.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? This is so messed up. We having a conversation, so I would only, and I'm being honest with y'all, I got to share my preach stuff. I would only try to prophesy to women. You're laughing because you probably done been through this. See what I'm saying? But look, here's what I'm going to do. Let me tell you. So, because at this time, I knew my voice was what it was. So, I would only prophesy to women. And even in me trying to make up something, God will literally still speak through me, right? So I like, give an example. This happened like 10 years ago. This young lady there's one lady I wanted to talk to. I can talk about it. David said me too. See what I'm saying? I ain't the only one. God uses different ways to cope.
First of all, David Caton don't even talk in public. We just getting him used to talking in public. So I want to know who he was prophesying.
Hey, you never know. But
well,
this one young lady in particular, I really was interested in. And I had just got done preaching. And I told my assistant at the time, I said, look, tell this young lady I got a word for her. I got a word I got to give her. And so she meets me at my car or whatever. So I'm like, look, God is just downloading stuff in my spirit. But the whole time I was preaching, I saw you. Can you come out to eat with me and we can further?
No, Reverend.
But listen, so I say all that to say this. So I prophesied to her, right? And I literally read her down. Mm-hmm. So literally, God still used me in my sinful, dirty nature.
Come on.
To get a word. Just like when Naaman went to the River Jordan to get clean. But listen here. God used me. And then when I realized it was getting real, I shut it down because I wanted to holler again. I said, look, Lord,
you told God time out.
I said, good Lord, I'm seeing stuff I don't want to see. She is too fine to be showing me this dirty stuff about her, Lord. So I said, Lord, not right now. So then I told her one bad thing. I read her down. I told her that was, and I remember it to this day. I literally told her, it's a box in your house full of your ex's stuff. You'll never be able to move until you get rid of it. Like I saw the box, like literally, I saw everything, and she was just, she at the dinner table, she's crying. So I know I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, but God, now let me go ahead and deal with her now. God, I got you. God bless you. Thank you. Listen, I told her that she was gonna be married in a year. I was talking about me. That's it. I said, the Lord told me.
Where is your wife, Curtis?
She right over here. This is 10 years ago. This is 10 years ago. So I told her, I said, you're going to be married in a year. Oh, you know, to this day, This girl won't talk to me. Not even like if I see her now, I ain't talking about talking now, like trying to holler at her. I gotta be a fan, but like she literally still tells people that this man lied to me. He ain't real. Cut 10 years later, she still ain't
She
married.
still ain't married.
Said, Lord have mercy.
Oh
And
my
she
God.
reminded me after a year. She said, just want to let you know, you
Still ain't married.
false. You false. Because I'm still not married. I said, well, God is still working. It's something that you must have done.
Yeah,
Because
it's
what
your
I
fault.
did was, when I realized she wasn't going to let me holler, all the words became bad.
Come on.
God
That's
don't
it.
want you. God don't want you to be married. That's
Right.
the problem. See, no, but
It's
I
your
say all that
faith.
to say
Your
this.
faith level is low.
Yeah, it's very low. You wasn't preparing for your husband.
That's right.
I was sitting right here. But now, that's me in my younger days, y'all. But now I say all
Oh
that to say
God.
this. I say all that to say this. It's messed up because there's a lot of people who are able to manipulate God's word past points.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, so I use the analogy of what I've done to show other folk where it's some people out here that literally will try to steer people based off of how they feel about that person.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a story. Then I'm gonna let you go because we done went 15 minutes over our time. But
Oh Lord.
I listen. This is what happened. There's a big bishop in the city, and if I said his name, I wouldn't be able to walk out my office today because
Okay.
they'll kill me. But I mean, this man of God is powerful, and I mean prophetic. And he got up and was flowing in the prophetic, and he called this one lady up and said, "You know what? God's gonna bless you and your husband. I see God doing it for you and your marriage, your family. God's gonna make you and your husband get back together." He cut out my shandidi, start speaking in tongue, and the whole church is going, ah! And the lady standing there looking at him like, and he said, "Wait a minute, daughter, you don't receive the word of the Lord?" She said, "Bishop, you just buried my husband last week." And his response was, "Oh, sometimes I miss God."
Listen. Hey man, it's all right. Listen. We still human. God
Yeah,
bless you. Listen.
we prophesy in part. It's
We
all
still
right.
human. That's why honestly, and a pastor told me this, and it was funny when he told me. But it was funny. He said, look, if you ever off, just blow in their face. He's like, let me tell you why. Because he was like, the look is gonna be so confused and everybody gonna think they getting convicted. He's like, look, if you start feeling a little off, just say and back up. He's like, they gonna have this look on their face. When I tell you, because I see a lot of people doing that, they go, like, that's a trick. The trick that everybody uses. They put their hand right by that back area and they
Uh,
push them.
yeah, or they put their leg right behind your leg.
Right.
That's old
But I'm
school.
telling you, men and women of God, in the infancy of your prophetic gift, I'm opening you up to something.
Pour
If
into it,
you
Doc. Pour
if
into
you
it.
ever feel like you about to get off, just blow. Them folk ain't gonna know what's happening. But it's something about that. Like, listen, even when preachers
Don't y'all
blow,
listen to Curtis, y'all.
listen, I'm telling you, if you ever feeling off in the spirit, just blow. And just I'm telling you, the
Why
person
not
gonna
just
be
be
looking so
quiet?
like this.
Why not just be quiet?
No, be quiet. You in too deep already. You there. You there. God, God is not gonna leave you stranded. Now he may let you break down for a little bit,
Oh
but
my
in your
God.
breaking down for a little bit, turn the AC on. What's turn the AC on? Blow that thing. Blow that thing. I'm telling you. If you ever feel lost in the word, blow. Man
Yo.
of God, if you preaching and you ain't got no more word, and God said,
Uh,
just blow. Ain't let me tell you, it works. It works. I'm
we
telling you.
not gonna be playing with people.
Now, now you
We
gonna
not
see.
gonna be playing with the people of God like this,
I
Curtis.
guarantee you gonna see some preacher in the next couple weeks.
Uh,
He gonna be preaching,
he might.
and he just gonna be like, "And God said, I knew it. He lost. He done.
Yo, man, yo, bro, I love you, man, and I
Love you too,
appreciate you
man.
for coming back. This has been part 2 of Kingdom Conversations, man. I could talk to you for hours, man, but you gotta go. I gotta
Yeah.
go. And
Are you
man,
preaching any funerals today?
no, man, I'm off today. This is, I usually tell the people they dying to hear me preach, but everybody's alive today. So
Let me tell you, go get you a nice what's the sandwich that I never got to try out there?
you,
What's the chop that's out there?
yeah, the chopped cheese.
Never had that.
Never
I've
had
had
that.
heroes and all of that. But now let me tell you, I will say this. I know you're gonna let me go, I'm gonna let you go. But have you ever had the public sandwiches
Now, what is a
down
public
here?
sandwich?
We got a
No,
grocery store down here called Publix.
no.
All right, well look, when son, you better not be blowing on people. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's your pops?
That's my dad. Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, man of God, if it
I'm
get
gonna
too
get him
low,
Sunday. I'm gonna
blow.
say, Deacon Hendrickson, come here. Lift your hands.
But no. Whenever you come to Atlanta or Florida, hopefully we can get you here for my comedy special. I'm gonna let you know the dates. It's come on, come
Yeah,
on.
man. Yeah, please,
But
please.
yeah, it's a spot called Publix, and they make great sandwiches. And
Okay.
honestly, they're better than Heroes.
Really? Yeah, we gotta definitely link up. Gotta
So
link
but
up,
yeah,
man.
but thank you for your time, Pastor Henderson, man.
Man,
You
listen,
understand,
bro.
man?
You are a gift to this generation. You're a gift to the body of Christ.
Thank
And
you,
and I pray nothing but the blessings of God to you and your family, man. And
thank
please,
you,
bro, don't change, man. You are exactly what the kingdom needs, my friend. Exactly
thank you
what the
so much.
and you're bigger than what people think, man. And I'm just excited to see what God is doing next. And you don't even know the guy, my brother who brought this for me, Leroy Emery
Hmm.
Newman. He's the guy that blessed me with this mic. Um, I've been offered my own radio show like twice already, and
Mm.
you were talking, and when you were talking about how this is just like the birthing, and you know, I don't know, man. I got a funny feeling that we're going to be doing this on a really bigger platform real soon.
Man, listen, man.
So
God has a way of connecting and intertwining
yeah,
for reasons, right?
yeah,
Like some stuff are just conversation. Some stuff is conversation. Some stuff is cultivation, and some stuff is lifetime partnership.
yeah,
It's okay to say, okay, we were cultivated or we learned the lesson for a time. We move on. But I
yeah.
definitely feel like you're in a season of your life. I hate to get too deep, but I'm telling you, when God started heating up on me, but I'm telling you, it's something that I see. I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off air.
You can release the word, Doc.
No, it's some money coming to your way, right? But I know most people say it's money coming your way, but it's not money for you to ever touch personally. It's money that's supposed to use strictly to cultivate and to grow. Don't buy a personal thing, not a car, not a house, nothing. Because the second that you do that, I hear God saying, I'll retard your time, meaning I'll push it back. So whenever you receive that seed, grow whatever it is you're growing that people don't know about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all.
I receive it. I receive it. Listen, man, this is my brother, man, and I'm so excited. You're about to go on tour and everything. So if people want to find where you're going to be, how to get in contact with you, how do they go about doing that?
On a TV screen. Now let me stop. That's how I can find me at. Now, right here on Facebook, Curtis Akeem. Instagram, Curtis.Akeem. And it's Curtis.Akeem everywhere, really. And other
Okay.
than that, anybody want to book me, info@goinggrace.com. I'm trying to figure out how I can get to New York, but these churches playing. These churches reach out and then I give them a price and they don't like the price.
They don't like the price.
They don't
Well,
like the price.
I'm gonna bring you. I'm gonna bring you, Doc, and we ain't got to worry about that. I'm gonna bring you. And see, the only thing is, we don't see the culture up here has changed. Like
Okay.
we don't do Friday night services like that anymore.
Wow, really?
and really nobody does Sunday afternoon. It's like a pocket full, because when years ago, man, you had it's like the church I grew up in. We did 3 services every Sunday.
Right. And most of the churches, like after you leave whatever your home church is, you was
You would
going to
go,
somebody, you was going to
not no
fellowship
more.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Not no more. And the
Wow.
only reason why you can still find it in pockets is because it's become so expensive up here, where a lot of us are sharing buildings. So
Okay. So
I
that's why
would
some
order,
churches are starting at 12 and some are starting at
yes,
okay.
at 3 and different things. And that 3 o'clock is their morning worship.
Right.
So after that, ain't nobody, everybody ready to go home after that. So the challenge would be on how to strategically get it where you can do your thing. You know what I mean?
No, the challenge is y'all get delivered and move down south. That's
That's
the challenge.
Let me tell you something. So are y'all still do afternoon services down there?
No, we don't definitely.
See, you talking all that. Y'all don't even do it. What you
But
talking about?
here's why I say there's not a lot of afternoon services. It's because we're not on top of each other with buildings. The real estate market down here is so wide open
Yeah,
that
it is.
everybody listen. Somebody wake up and hear the breath of God on a Monday. By Sunday, they got a building.
Wow.
It's buildings everywhere, and not just in Atlanta, but Charlotte. Charlotte is a place where I'm telling you right now, this ain't just prophetically speaking. This is just the business mind. More churches need to start planting in Charlotte. Bump coming to Atlanta. Because what's happening is Charlotte, there's a lot more older churches than new innovative churches. The one big church there, I forget their name. You white boy. Can't think of his name.
I know you talking
Elevation.
about.
Elevation.
Yes.
I mean, they got like 30 churches in Charlotte alone. But still, they talk to them. They talk to them. You know what them is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If somebody, I think, didn't somebody come down to Charlotte and plant a church at one time?
From where? New York?
Yeah.
A couple of people. You have
I know it was one bishop in particular.
you got Bishop Brian Moore. He has a church in Charlotte.
What's the one? He had a church in Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to mention him anyway. But listen. No, I'm just saying. The only reason I say that is because there was some controversy. I just remember why I knew him. I know there was some stuff, yeah, God bless him. Anyway, move on. Like I said, y'all know who I'm talking about, but listen, God delivers everybody. But I just thought about everything, and I was like, yeah, no.
I'm glad you turned that corner. I'm so glad you turned it.
Because
Once
I heard you, I'm like, oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't know who.
But we lift everybody in prayer who
The
suffers.
Lord is good. The Lord is good. Y'all saw how quiet I got. I said,
Once you start, I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
I wanted to go like this.
No. But then see that's the Lord download. The Lord said, sew it up.
Sew it up.
I got to sew that thing up.
That's what he'll do.
I remember how I found out about him. Glory be to God. But Charlotte, think about this. Think about this even for you. Think about this. All the banks are in Charlotte. Wherever the headquarters of the bank is, you're more likely to get a loan because you're in that city.
Right.
You can easily go. That's off-air stuff. See, because somebody gonna try to go start a church named in Bliss. Now I'm the problem. I gave him a business secret. But listen, it's grants out here to build churches when done right.
Yeah.
There's a grant in Atlanta specifically where if everything checks out and you're right, they will give you $250,000
to plant a church.
To plant a church. But most people ain't gonna go that route because once they start digging into your history,
yeah,
they can't find because the board is pastors. So them old school pastors, they want to know your history. Hey man, what's going on? What's up with you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
They probably know your pastor that you claiming you with. So, but yeah, 250,000, you can plant yourself a church. Like me, my next church is gonna be in the garage. Wanna know why? Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna be real innovative. I'm gonna get off this thing. Pastor, I'm sorry. I gotta tell people this. The church has got to wake up. I'm trying to tell you, it's a guy, and once I find his name, I'll send it to you personally. And I'm sorry, I'm taking up. We over
No,
time.
go ahead, go ahead.
But do you know that the biggest church body does not have a building by number?
I believe it.
It's this guy. He was a mega church pastor in California like 15 years ago. He's Chinese. On roster, he has 1 million members. He has no building.
No building.
Talk about the overhead he's saving.
Woo. Listen to me.
Now listen, he has his musicians. But the way he started his church was through sales. So there was a group say for instance, there's like me. He comes to me and says, "Hey, I got this new way that I want to do church. I want you to be the ambassador over just your subdivision." I get everybody in my subdivision together. We turn our TV and watch him. That's the system that he see. I Miss Newman. She knows who I'm talking about. I can't think of the name, but she's advocating for me. But on roster, he has 1 million members. Doesn't have a building. This was 15 years ago. So we getting fancy with
that's brother Newman. Lord,
Brother Newman. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Leroy. I thought it said. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The apostrophe. But I'm sorry. But
Apostrophe threw you off.
yeah, the apostrophe threw me off. But I say all that to say this: let's not be surprised if within the next 3 years we start seeing mega churches with no building. Because right now you have churches that they have movie screens in the church, so they at a church, but they're watching their pastor that's in such and such, or their pastor.
Yeah, I mean,
such and such.
That was something that honestly, because I started my virtual church about 3 years ago before all this stuff like really happened, and that was the plan for when they started doing the hologram concerts.
Yeah.
With all the artists that were dead.
Yeah.
That was what was trying to happen. And matter of fact, Bishop Jakes was the first one that started doing that. He would be at the Potter's House, Texas, and the church plants on the screen.
Right.
And they would be in there carrying on like he's preaching right in front of them.
Right.
So I believe it.
And there's more people that honestly, for people like us, like I love being in the building. But there's some people who can really have a great worship experience at home, because at home they can be naked, and I don't mean physically. Okay.
Right. They ain't got to put on all that stuff. No
they can literally have a worship experience. So I would say to you and other pastors, now you on the cutting edge because you're on here with me. This is cutting edge because some folks, they wouldn't dare. But just be mindful of what this virtual space can do, and it's rent free.
Yeah.
You can talk to the world. I've done millions of views not from here, but from my living room. I've touched millions of people without ever leaving my home. My voice is in continents that I've never been to.
Yeah, that's powerful.
But we can go on about that. We can have a part 3 one of these days.
Yeah, man. Listen, you'll definitely be back, man. And I'm godly proud of you, man. Everything
Thank
that's
you so
happening
much
for you. And I know that this is just the beginning of the new level and new promotion. And please give my love to your family. And Curtis Akeem, everybody, my guy.
God bless you. You see, and one more thing, one thing I said, and I retract my statement that I said about people being ambassador bishops and all that, because I want to be an ambassador. So somebody sign me up for the ambassador class, because
get off. Bye, Curtis.
I love you, man.
Yo, that's my brother, man. Curtis Akeem, one of the greatest young comedians in the game, and he's doing great things, y'all. I hope that y'all were blessed by this edition of Kingdom Conversations. We went a little bit, actually a lot of bit over our time, but it was well spent. Great conversation with a great young man of God. and we're gonna get him up here to New York. And I mean, y'all have to experience his ministry in person. So big shout out again to my brother Emery. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, bro, the mic sounds real good, man. I'm enjoying it. And thank you for sowing that seed into my life in me, man. I really appreciate it. And let me tell you guys something. It just pays to be nice. When you're nice to people and you don't have a bunch of falling out with folk and you just are working your lane, God will send people to bless you and to sow into your life, man. And so I'm going to close out this show going back to my favorite clip from my little brother, Curtis Akeem, imitating Bishop Paul Morton. I love y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Check this out, y'all.
Luther Vandross says, here and now I promise to love faithful. Sit your head down. That's the problem. This ain't no show. Everybody's growing in the Lord here. And you definitely need it. The way you be trying to sleep with everybody up in the church. We need to get your flesh up and get it tamed. Matter of fact, get down to the altar right now. We're going to pray it up out you. I promise to love faithful.
Kingdom Conversations, y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Pastor Derek Talton, I love you, big bro. Blessings, man.